Hi, everybody. This is Silvio Canto in Dallas, Texas on Tuesday, January the 14th, and welcome to our video commentary. Well, the Houston Astros have put baseball on the front page. Normally, we're not talking baseball in the middle of January, especially in the middle of this wonderful NFL postseason that we've been experiencing here for the last couple of weeks. But they did, and I'm sure all of you may be familiar with the scandal in Houston regarding stealing signs and so on. Now, stealing signs has been going on in baseball since the first game was ever played. Basically, what happens in baseball is the managers and the coaches communicate with the players by using signs. This is why sometimes you see the manager and the coach doing this, or when you are the catcher, you give a sign to your pitcher, that kind of thing. That's been going on for a long time. And obviously, the players on the other side are looking for ways of stealing the signs, or at least knowing in advance what they're going to do. This is completely normal. It's been going on, as I say, since the beginning of time. In fact, if you remember that recent documentary by Ken Burns about baseball, you may remember George Will, who's a huge baseball fan, talking about how Willie Mays used to stand on second base, and he was able to steal the signs just by looking at what the managers and some of the coaches were doing, or the catcher. So it is something that has happened before. The difference now is that the accusation against the Astros is that they were using technology to do it. Basically, they were using video and cameras and all of that to steal the signs, which of course, not exactly the right thing to do. So big changes will happen in Houston. The manager was fired, the general manager was fired. It's a real shame because those two men did a great job in rebuilding that franchise, the Houston Astros, and turning it into the great team that they are. And the game has also made some, the commissioner of baseball has also made some announcements about what players can or cannot do. I guess players are not going to be able to bring their iPhone to the game anymore. They're going to have to leave it in the locker room, which sounds fine to me. But the tragedy of all of this is that it didn't have to happen. There's very little evidence that stealing signs actually changes games. For the simple reason that, for example, you can steal the sign from the catcher. You can tell the batter or alert the batter that he's going to throw you a curveball, for example, but you still have to hit it. And that is a lot more difficult than people realize. But it is a shame that this has happened to the Houston Astros, one of the teams that I think a lot of us came to admire for the way that team was put together, the kind of player development that team was able to do to become the powerhouse that they are. So I'm sorry about the Astros, and I guess you're not going to see players anymore with iPhones on in the dugout or whatever. But I think the commissioner handled this correctly, by the way. I think these players had to be, these changes had to be made. And I think overall it's good to see the commissioner coming out and dealing with the problem openly and accepting responsibility and moving on. Thank you for watching. We have all of these on YouTube, on Twitter, and on my blog. And if today's your birthday, happy birthday. Bye-bye, everybody.